Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Reflecting Shakespeare's TV. We are so thrilled you've joined us. My name is Erica, and I'm the manager and facilitator of the Reflecting Shakespeare program that the Old Globe has been bringing to people experiencing incarceration for several years. This program is designed to go inside while we cannot. So let's get on with this and bring on James and Nikki. Hey, you two.
Hey, hello.
Hi, everyone. Of course, we're making it magical. Here we are. So my name is Nikki. I've been working with the Old Globe and facilitating Reflecting Shakespeare for a little bit over a year. I'm a formerly incarcerated individual, and I love doing Reflecting Shakespeare for our system impacted folks on the inside and on the outside.
All right. Thank you, Nikki. Hey, so it's great to see everybody. My name is James. I'm a facilitator on Reflecting Shakespeare at the Old Globe Theatre. And now, without further ado, drum roll, please, back by crazy popular demand. Let's welcome back Ron and Sammie.
Hey,
Hey,
hello. I'm Ron. I'm the amateur of the crew, and basically a returned citizen myself. I spent 25 years in prison and did 20 years of Shakespeare Behind Bars, so I understand the meaningfulness of this work.
hello. This is Sammie. I am a founding member of Shakespeare Behind Bars. I was incarcerated for 31 consecutive years, and Shakespeare is my passion. I just want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. Thank you.
All right, that's beautiful. All right, everyone, it looks like we are all here, including those of you who are watching. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to ask you to journal along, so we invite you to get something to write with as we go.
All right. You guys ready? Let's get started.
All right, check-ins for the week. So what are your challenges and triumphs for the week? Folks watching, this is where we'll always start. Take stock with us. And for those on screen, let's keep it lean. Nikki?
Okay, I'll get us going. My low is that I'm missing my girls on the inside, like something fierce this week. I got a lot of JPay emails. A lot of things are just going really rampant and wrong in there with COVID. So I'm really just missing my girls on the inside. My high is self-awareness, self-growth, and my amazing jobs. And that's just me keeping it lean. So thank you. What about you, Sammie?
Oh, for me, we finally got some snow and ice. And so my low has been learning to negotiate the ice and watching people slide and all that. Now, my high was, and I'm glad you mentioned, Nikki, reminded me that we have so many friends on the inside and really worried about them having with the COVID. One, Vance Young, another founding member, he was infected. He was in ICU at one time. They didn't think he was going to make it through, but I received a phone call from him last night, and he is well. He's recovering well. So that was really great. How about you, Ron?
Well, me personally, mine's along the same lines. Found out that one of my best friends I was incarcerated with was diagnosed with COVID. It's kind of low because I also saw him earlier in the week. Of course, the high is that just the realization that no matter what you go through, we make it through it. We don't know how, we just make it through it. And no matter what it is that you face with, you don't have to know what the outcome is going to be. You just know that you just keep pressing forward. How about you, James?
So my low is kind of a double-edged sword. I'm really grateful for all these opportunities that we have on Zoom and all those connections, but I am really missing being in the rooms where these programs take place, like really being in those spaces. My high is my dog, who has decided it is her job, right, to be right by my side between the hours of 9 till 5, like she's at work. Like she tracks me around the house. She'll sit under the desk. If I make a move, she like checks to see whether she should be doing something at the same time. So there's like a beautiful connection happening there, which I'm getting a lot of joy from right now. Erica, what about you?
So my low is I didn't sleep so well last night because I keep going on and on over a problem happening at work in my mind, trying to problem solve it. But my high is that when I'm that stressed out, I've got some lovely people in my life that hold me, recognize me, and talk me down and get my confidence back up. So I'm really grateful for my relationships. And for everyone watching, did you take stock with us with your challenges and triumphs for the week? We invite you to warm up with that prompt.
All right, everyone. Today's warm-up game is called My Beat for Today Is. And it goes like this. I'm going to say my name is, so I'll just tell you my name, and then I'm going to show you my beat. And then everyone is going to repeat it back to me, including you watching. So we're talking about a rhythm that might be moving you through your day. I'm going to go first to get us started, and then we'll move through the group. All right. So my name is James, and my beat today is boom, 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 boom.
All right.
All right, here we go. My name is James,
and my
beat today is
boom,
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 boom.
Boom. All right, I'll go. My name is Nikki, and my beat today is boom, boom, boom.
All right.
All right. My name is
My name is
Nikki,
Nikki, and my
and
beat
today my beat is
is
boom, boom.
That's a
Yeah.
beat.
All right, Sammie?
Oh, my name is Sammie, and my beat today is dum de dum dum dum.
Yeah.
All right.
My name is Sammie,
and my
and
beat
today my beat is
Is
Dum de dum dum
dum.
dum.
Yeah.
wow. My name is Ron, and my beat today is boom, 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 boom.
All right.
All right.
All right.
My name is Ron.
Ron,
And
my
beat
beat today is
Boom,
Boom, boom, boom, boom.
boom,
Boom, boom, boom, boom,
Boom, boom, boom, boom, boom, boom.
Yay.
I don't know if I got that. My name is Erica, and my beat today is
All right.
Right.
My name,
My name
is
is
Erica. And
my
today
beat is
Is
all right. And now this is going to get loud out there. It is the turn of you who are watching. All right, let's see those beats. Go for it.
all right.
Man, that was a lot of noise. Great job, everyone. Thank you.
Hey, this is Sammie. Thank you guys for participating. I wish I could be there with you. And although I have been there in that type of environment for many, many years, so I know what it's like with the monotony that goes on and everything. And to be able to be a part of such a group so you get a chance to do something different, because ultimately, no matter where we're at, we are responsible for creating our own happiness. And I'm just so happy to be a part of this. Thank you.
As far as anybody that's been in there, I understand what it's like with this program and any programs. Anything that helps you discover more of yourself is always a blessing. And always just continue to believe, because some days you're going to have days where it doesn't make sense, but eventually it does. And if you just keep putting left foot in front of the right foot, eventually you'll understand where your destination is. You'll see it on the horizon, and you'll start realizing there was a purpose to all of it.
Well, now that we've warmed up our sense of play, let's get to work. For this series of Reflecting Shakespeare TV, we are exploring one of Shakespeare's most beloved comedies, Much Ado About Nothing. Don't we all deserve a little comedy right now?
Yeah.
No, yes. Yes. As always, our goal is to have fun with the story and then dig into how what's going on with the characters relates to us right here, right now. So, Nikki, will you help set up the story?
I would love to. The army, led by Don Pedro, is returning from a success in battle. They're spending a night at the house of Leonardo, who has a beautiful unmarried daughter named Hero. Hero's older cousin, Beatrice, also lives with them as her parents are no longer alive and she, Beatrice, is unmarried. Don Pedro has arrived. He has two of his soldiers, Benedict and Benedict's new friend, Claudio, are welcomed by Leonardo and his family.
So in the scene we read last week, we saw Beatrice and Benedict really throw some strong verbal shade at each other. And they're both denying that they like each other, but clearly they're covering up some sort of history that is yet to be revealed. Meanwhile, Claudio and Hero have been completely silent, but that doesn't mean they've been inactive. In fact, we're about to hear all about what's been going on with Claudio as we enter this scene. So let's get into it and say who's going to play each part. Nikki, will you dole out the casting for the guys?
Absolutely. All right. So we'll have Ron, if you don't mind, you could play Benedict. Sammie, if you don't mind, we'll have you play Claudio. And James, you will play Don Pedro. How's that sound, guys?
Got it. You got it.
No problem.
Awesome. Take it away, experts.
Benedict, did thou note Hero, the daughter of Signor Leonardo?
I noted her not, but I looked on her.
She is not a modest young lady.
Do you question me, as an honest man should do, for my simple true judgment, or would you have me speak after my custom, as being professed tyrant to their sex?
Thou thinkest I'm in sport? I pray thee, tell me truly how thou likest her.
Would you buy her, that you inquire after her?
Can the world buy such a jewel?
Yes, and a case to put it into.
In mine eyes, she is the sweetest lady that ever I looked it on.
I can see yet without spectacles, and I see no such matter. There's her cousin Beatrice. If she were not possessed with a fury, exceeds as much in beauty as the 1st of May doth the last of December. But I hope you have no intent to turn husband. Have you?
I would scarce trust myself, though I am sworn the contrary, if Hero would be my wife.
Is it come to this? Look, Don Pedro is returned to seek you.
What secret upheld you here that you followed not to Leonato's?
He is in love. With who? Now that is your grace's part. Mark how short his answer is. With Hero, Leonato's short daughter.
If my passion change not shortly, God forbid it should be otherwise.
Amen, if you love her. For the lady is very well worthy.
You speak this to fetch me in, my lord.
By my troth, I speak my thought.
And in faith, my lord, I spoke mine.
And by my two faiths and troths, my lord, I spoke mine.
That I love her. I feel.
That she is worthy, I know.
That I neither feel how she beloved, nor how she should be worthy, is the opinion that fire cannot melt out of me. I will die in it at the stake.
Thou wast as ever obstinate heretic in the despite of beauty.
And never could maintain his part, but in the force of his will.
That a woman conceived me, I thank her. That she brought me up, I likewise give her most humble thanks. But I will do myself the right to trust none, and will live a bachelor.
I shall see thee ere I die look pale with love.
With anger, with sickness, or with hunger, my lord, not with love.
Well, if ever thou dost fall from this faith, thou wilt prove a notable argument.
If I do, hang me in a bottle like a cat and shoot me.
In the meantime, good Signor Benedick, repair to Leonato's, commend me to him, and tell him I will not fail him at supper.
And so I leave you.
Yes, that was such a good read. It's so much fun to have everyone here. Thank you so much for reading that. So, Nikki, since you were listening, can you unpack what you think happened, what you can make out happen by just listening to the scene?
Yeah, perfect. So what it sounds like is Claudio tells Benedict that he's in love with Hero, right? But Benedict does nothing but mock Claudio like the whole time for it, just completely clowning him. Don Pedro, though, is telling Claudio that his love is worthy. So Benedict swears, though, that he's just like, doesn't believe in love. He doesn't like love. He'll never have love. He will just never love, period.
Yeah, and then Don Pedro gets rid of him. It's like, well, you just go in there and I'll be there later.
Yeah, let's go to something.
Right. So yeah, that's exactly what happens. So I'm going to kind of ask the guys, having read those parts, give us a little bit of insight. What are some of the questions you're thinking about those characters now?
I mean, as far as Benedict is concerned, I think I relate to Benedict in the sense of he gives credit for giving birth and for raising him, which gives me the impression that his relationship with his mother was complicated. And so what happens is having me personally relating to that, you can get to a point in your life where you're able to say, listen, thanks for feeding me, thanks for giving birth to me and everything like that. But there's still some sense of resentment that you never really loved me. You never made me feel like your son or anything like that. It was more like I was more of a job. And so there was no connection there. And so if you don't have that connection at the earliest point in your life, it kind of skews how you see other relationships. And then you get to that point where if you didn't get that love from your mother, what makes you think that you're going to get that love from any other woman? If you grew up in that situation, you didn't have a choice, but you would never willingly go into a relationship with a woman at this point. Now that you have the ability to have a voice, to be able to make a decision, so you refuse to go there. You would rather actually be hung up and have them shoot at you than to go through the pain of being hurt like that. And basically, it's fear. Benedict is still that scared little boy that feels like he's missing something, and it manifests itself in such a way that it not only does he run away from that, but in order to not be alone, because he's got attachment issues of not wanting to attach there, but also not wanting to be alone in that feeling.
Whew, bring it. Thank you.
For Claudio, I look at him like, of course, when you're young and you're going to be attracted to women, but he lacked the confidence from the very beginning because, it's still the boyish part of him that's going to be hesitant as far as approaching or even talking about women. However, when he went to war, and now war is the ultimate man thing, he feels more confident. And when he returns, and so he thinks about acting on those hormones, so to speak. But he wants to, rather than approach Hero, he wants to just throw it out to Benedict, who may have had more experience than him, just to get a feel of what he's feeling, right? But then when he is rejected, he really doesn't know where to go. But then he runs into Don Pedro, who is okay with it. And so Pedro recognizes what's Claudio is going through, gets rid of Benedict. And so now he can hopefully move on from there.
To me, playing Don Pedro in that scene, it seems like him and Benedict have known each other for a long time, right? And I feel like when we were doing that scene, I felt like, oh man, Benedict's going to do his thing, right? He's going to just set out his stall for whatever he's thinking right now. And I think Don Pedro kind of hears him up to a point and then says, all right, you've said your thing, off you go. And then with Claudio, he's seeing this younger man falling in love maybe for the first time. And I think recognizes that nervousness that you might have about that, and kind of lets him know that, you know what, this thing that you're starting to feel, it's okay. Like, it's a good feeling.
When you think about everything that's going on, especially with Benedict, right? I love how Ron had said, ultimately there's an element of fear there. We don't know that, we're just kind of functioning from our own. I feel like it's kind of a subjective thing. It actually, the overall question is, do you believe in love? Right? And how has that been demonstrated to you throughout your life to where it's created a belief system for you, and you either believe it or, like how he was inquiring about Beatrice, even though he says he doesn't believe in it, he completely rejects it, he mocks it, but there's still that interest there, right? Which always shows me that, even when we stand strong in our beliefs, how ultimately something can come and completely rip the rug out from underneath us and ultimately change our perspective, our views, and enlighten our minds to a different avenue, and I think that's one of the things that just really it ignites, and it's like because of life experiences. And I love how we're talking about that, because it's like, we don't know the difference in what the upbringing was for Benedict versus what the upbringing was for Don Pedro, right? But we know that they have two drastically different perspectives of the same exact thing, looking at somebody that is experiencing being in love and what that looks like for him. And yet we have two drastically different concepts. So I love that. I think it's amazing.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's along the line of what you're saying. We don't know that. A lot of times we become products of our environment, and then we react to it. And like when we look at the same thing, if we're speaking about a car, right? Two people could be looking at the exact same car. Both of them may have had one experience in the past where they've seen the exact same kind of car. Now, the thing is, one person could have been standing at an outside restaurant, seeing the car passing and seeing how beautiful it was because it was a pretty girl driving it. The other person could have seen that car while he was standing in the middle of the street getting hit by that car. So what I'm saying is they've had the experience of seeing this car and experiencing this car in different ways. And so now when they see their car, it's a completely different feel to it. And I'm like, we generally sometimes forget. We judge people, as an old saying that says, we want to judge people by their actions while we want to be judged by our intent. And so it's a very complicated thing about looking at these characters, because anytime I look at a character, I'm always thinking about, I have the information that's in the play, but I always think back to creating a backstory that can be supported by the evidence of the play. Yeah. That's how I was able to kind of reverse engineer my own life, my own sense of who I was. Because if I could see the character in myself in every play that I did, it helped me to be able to, in a safe, stereotype environment, look back at myself and analyze it from a different perspective.
My reflections of Claudio as I was reading him and trying to listen to the words, and then seeing the response that he was receiving, it leads me to think about, this is the first time that he's ever attempted to allow anyone to know his true feelings. So that anticipation, I keep coming back to the word too, and to what he must have experienced to anticipate that, what was going on with him. Just feeling, his palms are sweaty, he's sweating and everything. And because it's the fear of rejection, but, he has some trust in Benedick, or hoping that Benedick will help him with that. But more than anything, is that I was thinking about that anticipation, how that would reflect in his body.
That is a great segue into our quick write, Sammie.
Yep.
Thank you for that.
That was perfect. So that leads us right into our amazing quick write. So here are some emotions. When you feel them, how do they manifest in your body? What physical sensations and changes do you experience? These are the following emotions: love, fear, sadness, happiness, anger, confusion, confidence, peace. Allow yourself an opportunity to explore that that writing reflection. We'd love to hear back from you. We'd love to hear how those things have really cultivated and manifested in your body, and what those physical sensations felt like.
And also to take stock in, how's your body feeling right now?
Yeah.
Great.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Okay, so let's return to the scene. Benedick has left Don Pedro and Claudio alone. And we're going to continue with James as Don Pedro and Sammie as Claudio.
My liege, your highness now may do me good.
My love is thine to teach.
Have Leonardo any son, my lord?
No child but Hero. She's his only heir. Dost thou affect her, Claudio?
Oh, my lord. When you went onward on this ended action, I looked upon her with a soldier's eye. But Now I am returned, and that war thoughts have left their places vacant. In the rooms come thronging soft and delicate desires, all prompting me how fair young hero is.
Look, I will fit thee with the remedy. I know we shall have a revelling tonight. I will assume thy part in some disguise and tell fair hero I am Claudio, and in her bosom I'll unclasp my heart and take her hearing prisoner with the force and the strong encounter of my amorous tale. Then after her father will I break, and the conclusion is she shall be thine. In practice, let us put it presently.
Yes, applause.
Yeah, I love that.
Applause from the
I
whole
like that.
audience.
I like that. I like that.
Yes. So Nikki, you've been like, watching, eating the popcorn, catching it all come down. What did you get just happen? What went down between those two?
Claudio's like, I used to be a soldier, but now I'm a lover because of Hero. He's like having this awareness, like, Don Pedro sets up a scene where he's offering to do all of the talking. He's like, we're going to create this little thing. I'm going to do all the talking, since Claudio is finding it hard to express himself. Tonight at a party, though, they're going to have, and everyone will be disguised in masks. So Claudio's going to dance up to Hero and say he is Claudio and do all the sweet talking for him. So he's putting it on. That's what he's doing. He's getting ready to put it on thick, I think.
On some level, he trusts Don Pedro. And basically, it's probably the first time that he's ever been able to kind of express himself in the sense of, I had these warlike thoughts. And I'm like, I know what it is to be a soldier. I know what to do with that. And for the first time in his life, he's feeling some feelings that he hadn't really felt before. And he doesn't really know what to do with that, because he doesn't really touch on what he wants to do about it. I think Don Pedro kind of goes into, he said, I'm going to get you this girl. I'm going to get you this girl. Because maybe at some point in Don Pedro's past, he, wish he had somebody that was staying in for him.
Yeah.
And do that for him, and he sees a little bit of himself, which is why he sends Benedict off. For a short scene, it's a lot of information. It's a lot of emotional investment in the particular scene.
Right.
And Don Pedro may be seeing if he still got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah, he's trying to see if he still got it. He got game.
He might have a woman at home and everything or whatever, and he's like, I'm still a player.
Hey, Ron, I was struck by something that you said earlier in a conversation we were having, and you were talking about the Claudio character and that he was prepared for war and he knew how to operate in that world, in a world that he understood. But now that he was moving into this different aspect, that there was this space, and he didn't know how to respond to this. And you thought on that really beautifully.
It's 5 years before I got out, it was like every day I had the same question. It's like, I knew in prison, no matter what happens, you're locked up for 25 years, no matter what happens, you know exactly what to do in any particular situation that happens in prison. Now, it may seem strange to people outside there, but within those walls, within those fences, there's a protocol at all times, written and unwritten, right? And then what happens is you know how to operate in that because you've been doing it for so long, especially if you're going at a young age. Then when I get out, the outside world is different. Those rules, they don't apply, right? So when you're in the war situation where he was at, you know exactly what you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? You have a limited amount of things that can happen on any given day, right? When you get out, now you got to deal with certain things, right? You don't always have to be here, right? No matter what you do in prison, they're going to pay the lights, they're going to feed you 3 hots or whatever it is. You're going to have those things. You're going to have a roof over your head, right? When you get out, now you're in a situation where there's a possibility that those things won't happen. And so now you don't know how to react to that. And so it's a new thing for you. And so what happens is with him, it was like feeling uncertain, feeling unsure of himself, much like a lot of individuals. I myself, I went through that. I was 44 when I got out, and it was like, I asked myself that question every day, if this happens, you got to go pay the bill. I didn't get locked up when they had cell phones. Cell phones came out while I was locked up, and it throws you off and it makes you question your efficacy and how you can go about life. And when you start to feel like that, that can be very debilitating to you and make you feel like you can't do it. And the reality of it is you need people around you that are going to understand that aspect about you. And Don Pedro, in this particular situation, is that guy that's helping them understand that. The question is, who is our Don Pedro in our particular life, and whatever the situation is that's going to happen in our life? I'm always open to Don Pedros in my life, because I don't know that you ever know when you're a Don Pedro in somebody else's life. I think it's one of those things that just be the truth, live the truth, be guided by the truth. I think the only time that you can ever really recognize a Don Pedro is when they're there for you. And that's the case. And I feel like if I continue to be the best me I can be, then maybe I will have those opportunities to be Don Pedro for somebody else. But it's not about me knowing it, and I don't think Don Pedro did. I think Don Pedro was just basically doing something that he believed to be the right thing. I don't think it was a matter of he thinking about credit for it or anything like that. He was just like, he gets to the line. He's like, and the conclusion is she should be dying. And it's like, it's not we gonna do this, but it's like let's put this into practice. And that's an interesting word. Put this in practice, meaning something that becomes a regular thing. Who we are towards one another, what love is. It's a practice. It's not something you do one thing. It's not just an act. A practice is something that is incorporated in what it is that you do. It's incorporated in your life. And I think that's what we're all seeking from a Don Pedro. It's something that we can put into our life that we can keep with us moving forward.
Nice, Ron.
Awesome. What a wonderful, wonderful segue right into our reflection questions. Thinking about these reflection questions, these are strong ones. So we encourage you guys to get to journaling, writing them down, and sharing your thoughts with us. So Benedick doesn't really process Claudio's shift of feeling with much grace or interest at all, not with the love thing, right? However, Don Pedro, different story. He's being super supportive, right? So how have you supported changes and transformations of those around you? And when have you been supportive, like Don Pedro? When have you resisted, though, like Benedick? And why? What was your reason in all of that? Looking at the things that create fear, like love, challenges, change, promotion, responsibilities, a new life, maybe even freedom. What is the best way to approach life's fears? And how have you confronted life's challenges? And thinking of all of that, we're all designed different. We're all unique in our own different ways. So how are we informed by our past? And what lens do you put on the world? We encourage you guys to write. We would love to hear your reflections. Take an opportunity to spend a moment with yourself and reflect on these reflection questions.
Very nice. Well, for me, only thing I can think about is when I really love that question. Who's been the Don Pedro in your life? And I've had, oh my God, I want to say probably hundreds, thousands, The issue was when somebody is saying something or trying to give me some information, the biggest problem I had in my past was that I was not receptive to it. But now looking at it from a different lens, and it's pretty much my motto now is that there's no greater joy for me than to be in the service of others, to reach out and help someone. Just like I don't want to be, just when I was a competitive powerlifter, I wanted to be number one, but it's really lonely at the top. Now I'm more inclined to reach back and pull somebody up with me, because it may be something that they can share with me that can help me. So I'm always looking to improve my life in any way possible. And I always joke sometimes, say I don't make mistakes, I make examples and exhibits. And it's being able to laugh at myself now when I make a mistake, like, oh, that was such a stupid thing to do. And it's fun. It's fun to me. And so I don't take myself so serious, as I don't think I'm just the very best, but I always consider myself a work in progress. Therefore, it keeps me from being so, what's the word? It's easy. I would want to say that I'm just confident, but I don't want my confidence to be looked upon as arrogance. So I'm always conscious of how what I say is going to affect somebody else. And so, and I temper that with making sure that, am I being true to myself? In my house in Hopkinsville. And I had Ron was the one put it up. I bought the logo, but Ron put it up for me in my house. It says, in the recessed walls, it says, "To thine own self be true." And it's still there. So that's what it's about. It's about, how can I help you? I love what you guys are doing out there. I really appreciate that you've invited me and Ron into your space. And because I know this is going to help somebody. And that's what my life is all about. How can I help improve humanity, so to speak?
I think that, even being out right now and being a mentor, it's, you can place everything at the feet, and it has to be, you have to have the willingness and you have to have the desire. If Claudio didn't have Don Pedro in his ear, somebody supporting him, somebody walking along the side of him in his ear, letting him know, like, this, I got you, like, this is the right thing to do. I'm so happy for you. Like, she's the one. If we just had somebody like Benedick in our ear all day, that ain't real.
Mhm.
That doesn't exist. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
What are you thinking? It's not even worth it. Like, I would rather throw myself in front of a bus, basically. What would the outcomes of that be? What would that manifest for somebody? And I think that it's so powerful and it's so impactful. Just the things, the things that we're willing to give other human beings, and where it draws in us to be so mindful of what it is that we're depositing in others. And I think that's one of the things that I see right here. And I think, for the first 15 years while I was in there, I didn't have anything good to deposit, because I didn't have anything good inside of me that I even knew existed, and it was the last 10 years where it was like I had to do everything in my power to be able to be somebody that was going to cultivate compassion, deposit gratitude, deteriorative with every interaction that I had, and try and nurture the folks so that they could realize that even in this deteriorative environment where it's just completely oppressive and depriving us of just life, right, that somebody is going to be in their corner rooting for them. And that was me. I was constantly rooting and encouraging my girls that there's so much, they were worth so much more. And I think that's what it comes down to, right? What we were talking about earlier is when we look at love and the fear of entering love and what that looks like, versus, do you deserve love, or versus, am I worthy of love? And how that internal battle just ends up resonating. And it's when somebody can finally get to the point, even just a little bit, right, of realizing, like, I'm worthy, like, I deserve that. How good does that feel? And so a lot of that's cultivated by amazing Don Pedros that we have in our lives. And sometimes,
Yes.
we don't value them. We don't appreciate them the way that they need to. And sometimes we don't recognize that they were even a Don Pedro until 10, 15 years later, but they planted that seed when it was necessary.
Whoa. Well, with that beautiful thought, let's close out this episode. It's been so wonderful visiting with
Wow.
everyone here. So that's it for today, guys. It's been great having you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank
It was
you.
wonderful. Thank you, guys. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here. All right.
Anytime. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm gonna wrap up our program the way we end in this format, or when we're working with you good people in the room. And we always have a one-word checkout, and that's one word describing how you feel right now. And I'm going to hand it to Nikki to get us going.
Lovable.
I feel amazing.
I feel good.
Feel refreshed.
I feel moved. I'm a little emotional right now. Yeah.
And everyone watching, share your one word and how you're feeling with us. Awesome. So right now, what we'll do is we'll count out 1, 2, 3, and we'll tap on that fourth beat. We'll end class like we do every single time, no matter where we're at, inside, outside, on this screen with you all. So thank you so much for being here with us today. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We are so on point.
I'm telling you, we nailed that.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks
Bye,
for tuning in,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you next
Yeah.
time.